It's Matty Fresh on the track up at State. And I'm bringing to you live my boys Alec and Nate. Tequila Ty, Jay, Nelly, and Zillin in the building. So kick it back, pour the drink. We chillin' because I'm boozing and betting and balling like I'm 2-6 in the blue kicks. Watch me move quick. Yeah, this the blueprint. So who's getting involved? Welcome into the show. This is Booze, Bets, and Ball, baby.
And welcome in to Booze, Bets, and Ball, a Penn State football podcast brought to you by Big Banter Sports. I forgot how much of a mouthful that is to say because it's been a while since we have been on here, but we're kind of freestyling it tonight, watching the end of the Penn State-Illinois basketball game, game being played at Rec Hall, and everyone loves to talk about that because apparently if they played there every day, the team would magically be better. I don't think that's the case. What do we got here? 77-70?
Yeah.
Something
Down
like
7
that.
with what, 6.5 or so minutes to go.
They're reviewing a goaltend or something.
Which
I think
is gonna get reversed. It looks like so.
Yeah, and it's not even sold out, by the way. There's empty sections there in a place that holds about 6,000 because they have some seats pushed up to make room for the team benches, so it's not even full capacity right now. And there's still empty seats, and I don't know. People love to dog on the Bryce Jordan Center. That's not a good environment. It's not good for fans. I just think it's more of a product thing. You know, like Beaver Stadium is not winterized at all. It's horrible to watch a game, to try to enjoy a game there in the end of November when it's freezing. The bathrooms are troughs with lines, you know, all the way on the concourse. The concourses are small. The bleachers, you know, the seats are metal bleachers that are meant for like a 12-year-old girl to sit on with no backs. And yet the place is packed and it's a great environment. Why? Because the product is good. I just think it has to do more with the product on the court than it does what the arena looks like. Because I think this fan base has shown that Beaver Stadium is practically falling apart. And now that's why they're doing all these renovations, but it was still sold out all the time and packed. And I think it was just more that the football product was entertaining and good. I don't think it has anything to do with what the facility is.
Last Monday, not this past Monday, the week before, wrestling faced Rutgers, who's not very good, at the Bryce Jordan Center
On a Monday.
I think it looked sold out, like on TV.
Mm-hmm.
It looked packed. It was loud and everything. So I think you are precisely right. It's not about necessarily the venue. It's about the team that is playing at the venue. And the Rec Hall, every time there's a wrestling match, it's completely sold out, right? And like you're saying, basketball has the number 12 team coming to town, and they're struggling to get a full stadium or a full arena. So I would tend to agree with you. I do think, though, similarly, if you want to give yourself an advantage as a team that's on the come up, I guess, or you want to, want to be somebody who battles the bigger teams like this, playing in Rec Hall and at least filling it and making it appear like it's, full of caring people would be a benefit over Bryce Jordan. So, yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I used to have class in Rec Hall. I can tell you they're wooden bleachers with like splinters in them. It is if they want to go back there full time or even part time, it needs to be renovated too. It is not exactly up to date, even though it's a lot better than it was according to people I've talked to that were there way before me. So I guess we'll see with that. Kind of moving on to football, some stuff. I mean, Abdul Carter's moving to defensive end, which. I kind of brought that up back in December when Jayshawn Barham, the Maryland linebacker, entered the portal, and Penn State was really on him during his high school recruitment, and he ended up going to Michigan. But the thing I kind of brought up was, if they get him, are they going to move Carter to defensive end? And a lot of people said no. Well, they don't even get Barham, but Carter's still moving a defensive end. And
when he went in the portal, was it Tom Allen already by that time or no?
I don't think it was.
I think it was before, right? Yeah.
It was they were really closely. It was in the same time frame, I think, maybe a few days.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that would have gone different if he was a little. If
I don't
Thon.
mean for that purpose. I just
Oh,
mean
I
for
know.
the sake of, the does Allen apparently playing a 4-2-5
Hmm.
facilitate putting Carter on the end more than right? And if Allen was there and they knew that they were going to move Carter to the end by that time, would Barnham maybe have come or had more
Yeah,
motivation? Yeah.
that's a
Anyway,
good point.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what I want to ask you is this more of a reflection on maybe the other defensive ends outside of Denai Dennis Sutton aren't that good? Is it more of a reflection on the linebackers behind Carter are really
Very good. Mhm.
yeah, and or is it Carter's best position actually is defensive end, and maybe they were just playing him at linebacker because he was behind not just Denai Dennis Sutton, but Chop Robinson and Adisa Isaac the last 2 years. It's a loaded like there's a lot going on there. I don't know.
It's an inverse Micah Parsons, right? In a way, which is kind of wild. So if you look at the depth chart as it is right now, you have Denai Dennis Sutton, left defensive end, Zariah Fisher, right defensive end, Amin Vanover, number 2 on the left, and then Jamail Lyons, number 2 on the right. So, I mean, that lends some credence to, needing more depth there because I think Fisher had some flashes, and obviously DDS is going to be very, very good. But behind them, yeah, not a lot, right? Not a lot of depth. You have Smith Vilbert, who
was hurt.
Yeah.
Missed all last year.
And then that's basically it. Somehow Chop Robinson is still listed on our lads, and so is Adiza Isaac. But okay.
Yeah, they didn't update that yet. I think what you'll see is
The fresh
underclassmen who declare for the draft aren't automatically like taken off of that because they just have it. They have them listed in there by their eligibility. So I think they'll push them up the depth chart until they run out of eligibility, unless someone goes in there and fixes it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, right now they're listed as like 15ers anyway, but
Yeah.
so it's fine. But yeah, I think there's probably some of that. There's probably some of him just being really good at rushing the passer from there, but with his quickness and everything, it's probably like a multitude of things. Happy that they can convince him to do that, but like, yeah, Illinois just got a 3, 78-70 now. So does it limit his impact on the game? I guess is the question too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was fantastic in coverage. I'd have to go back and look. I think he was like okay against the run, but I think they really like Tony Rojas, the sophomore, to come up, and I don't think just Tony Rojas would make them make this substantial of a move because I think he would have factored in the rotation anyway. Kind of would have been like last year when they had Adisa Isaac and Chop Robinson starting, but they still found ways to get DDS on the field. I feel like it would have been the same thing with Rojas. To me, it's more about guys like Kavion Keys and Keon Wiley that like these guys are also, giving them enough of a push that like, oh, we got to get these guys on the field somehow too. So I don't think it's just Rojas that's doing this push, for them to move Carter. I think it's a collection of guys because Rojas is just one guy and he was going to factor in anyway.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And now you have, if you are in a 4-2-5, you have Rojas and King, and I guess that one nickel spot is more of a kind of, I don't know, strong safety sort of outside linebacker.
I guess King Mac's going to play that, but
okay, that's good. And then you got Tyler Elton and Dom DeLuca backing them up for right now. And we'll see, like you said, some of the young guys, basketball down by 12 all of a sudden. But yeah, I mean, there definitely is more depth of experience at linebacker and probably depth of talent too, right? And the problem a little bit is that the depth of talent is not the same individuals as is the depth of experience. But maybe you expect those things to gel, and then ultimately it works out to be okay.
My one concern would be if like one of these guys got hurt. I don't know how good your depth is behind them. I know there's been a lot of talk. Dakari Nelson, who came in as a safety, could probably move down and play linebacker. He's pushing 6'4", I think. So I think he's someone that could probably come down in an emergency situation. Is probably being groomed to move there anyway once he fills out a little more. He's just going to be a redshirt freshman this year. So I guess that would be a way to solve that. But yeah, I just think it's finding a way to put their best 11 on the field. They've done this stuff before. Like I said, last year, putting their best 11 on the field included having Chop Robinson and Dee Isaac at defensive end and Carter at linebacker. And, going back to like 2019, their best 11 was Micah Parsons at linebacker because they had Odafe Owe and Yetur Gross-Matos at defensive end. So I just think it's kind of shifted where our best 11 is. We have more, like our linebacker group has more guys in our top 11 most talented players than our defensive end group does.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Right. So if you look at it that way, you have DDS, Devon Ellies, Zane Durant, still my favorite defensive player, I think. Carter, and then Kobe King, Tony Rojas, and then you have
it's a collection of guys. Yeah.
KJ Winston, Jalen Reed, AJ Harris we could talk about, and then Cam Miller or one of the other young safeties or young cornerbacks, and then King Mack. So, I think that the way you're looking at it there makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, the secondary, I think, is still going to be pretty good. I mean, the safety group, those top three guys are really, really good. Winston, especially, there's a lot of hype for him coming into the season. And his cousin is a 5-star recruit at the same position in this upcoming recruiting class. So I think pleasing him is probably towards the top of their priority list right now. So I expect him on the field a lot this year and for him to get a lot of hype heading into the season. But not all of that just because of his cousin. He is pretty good in his own right. But yeah, AJ Harris also getting some hype on Twitter. A lot of people seem to be happy with his potential. Again, really high ranking coming out of high school, but he didn't transfer because he didn't live up to that ranking. It was that George just loaded and he wanted to play. And he's just only a true sophomore. This isn't, as much as we want to, we like Julian Fleming and he's going to significantly help the receiving group. It's not the same thing of comparing two former 5-stars transferring. It's totally different situations.
Yeah, I think so. I think that makes sense. Yep. And we saw something yesterday or today about how incredible and focused and everything AJ Harris is. So God bless us all. But then, it'd be interesting to see how Jalen Kimber fits into this. And then, going back to the Peach Bowl again, like, I don't know who the hell is playing. Zion Tracy, I guess, is the best cornerback from the roster at the end of last year. So you need one of him or Jalen Kimber or Cam Miller to be serviceable next to AJ Harris if he's going to be, Kalen King from last year or Joey Porter maybe.
Yeah, there's not a lack of options. I mean, Elliott Washington is going to be a sophomore this year. He's there. They have that, God, how do you say his first name? Like Davian Collins. They got him last year from like Mississippi State as a transfer, and they just redshirted him, didn't play him at all. So he's there. I mean, there are 6 or 7 options. It's just, I think, finding, the 4 or so you like. And unfortunately, that probably ends up with someone transferring. That's just the nature of college football nowadays. So I don't know. That is what it's going to be. But the secondary group, I really am not that concerned about, even though the Peach Bowl showing was really bad. I just think that those safeties are a year older. AJ Harris is here, and those young corners, that was their first kind of baptism by fire. And you're honestly not going to find many passing attacks as good as that Ole Miss one was last year. And I'm not sure you'll find one in the Big Ten this year, because I think with what Ohio State brings back at running back, you're going to see them run the ball a lot more. Washington loses their entire passing game. Their quarterback and their top 3-4 receivers, they're not going to have the same passing game. USC is moving on from Caleb Williams. I don't think they'll have the same passing game. So a lot of teams on your schedule that threw the ball a lot last year, I don't expect them to really do it this year. And we know West Virginia would probably like to run the ball first too. So, I just think Ole Miss is not a team you're going to see a lot of. You're not going to see a lot of similar offenses this upcoming season on Penn State's schedule versus what we saw in the Peach Bowl against.
Yeah, that's probably true, but it still gives me some sort of PTSD every time I think about it. Oh my God, Cam Miller, man! Like there was an overthrow in the end zone, and we did the sword in the sheet thing.
I know.
That's just it drives me nuts. Okay,
yeah.
15 or 20 something.
So yeah, that's on the defense. I guess we'll see how that progresses as spring camp goes along. But so the playoffs officially 12 now. I mean, we knew it was going to 12, but it was just announced officially the other night, and it's 5 and 7. The top 5 conference champions get in, and then 7 at-larges, with the top 4 conference champions getting the bye. So pretty much, I think that has to do with the fact that the Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Because I think it was 6 and 6. It was the 5 Power Fives, a group of 5, which normally, if you're the highest group of 5, you won your conference, and then 6 at-larges. So now it's pretty much a battle between, I don't know, the Pac-2, if you want to call it. I don't even know. Are they even going to acknowledge that?
Who are they playing?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12 champions, and the highest ranked group of 5, and then 7 at-larges is what you're getting at, I think, is what it comes down to.
I'm looking up the Oregon State schedule for next year.
I don't even think they have a full schedule yet.
Well, it looks like they do not. So they play Idaho State, San Diego State, Oregon somehow, Purdue, good for them, Cal, and then Washington State. So
that's all they have.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's sad.
Yeah, I don't know why.
They're gonna play Washington State 6 times or something.
Yeah, probably. And now you know why their coach ran for Michigan State the first chance he got, even though he was an alum of Oregon State.
Anyway, so yeah, I think I just want to see what Washington State has going on. They don't even publish a schedule. I think, like you said, you get the top 4, right? So it's a de facto 4+1, but conceivably, I guess, right? You could have it such that, I don't know, like the ACC sucks or something, and you have Conference USA and, I don't know, the Sun Belt champions somehow making it, which would be wild.
Yeah, my thing is everyone would have to go at least 9-3 in a conference for not the conference champion to even get in at all.
I know, it'd be insane.
Yeah, the funniest part to me was the fact that Notre Dame could be 12-0, number 1 in the country, and their highest seed would be 5.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that was a big thing, and the Notre Dame athletic director is on the board that approved this. So if they start complaining, look, your own people agreed to it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think now maybe not the team itself, but a lot of schools would maybe rather not have that bye, because that's going to be a lot of money. If you get the home game, it's a lot of money coming into your school, your stadium, your town. A part of me feels like there's a lot of schools out there that would be a lot happier being 5 than 4.
Well, let's think about it, because if the second round games are at bowls or they're on campus,
the second and third round games are the New Year's Six bowls, and then it's the championship. So there's 3 rounds before the championship,
and it's only the first round that gets the campus games. Okay,
yeah, so 5 through 8 is home, 9 through 12 is on the road. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, then I'm with you. Right, there's an advantage towards winning the championship if you have a bye, but not for your own revenue and things like that. So that's conceivable. Washington State, for what it's worth, does have a full schedule. A mishmash of schools from Portland State to UW to Boise State all the way to Utah State and Hawaii. So yeah.
Jeez, yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate for them. But yeah, 12 team. Look, Penn State would have been in it 4 times now if it was 12 this entire time. So
all right, I have a hypothetical for you. My son and I were talking about this yesterday.
All right.
On the way home. So Penn State goes 11-1 with a loss to Ohio State, which I will write in blood right now that they're not going to beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
Oregon also goes 11-1, and I think there's a scenario where they also just lose to Ohio State. Do you want to be the team that plays Ohio State in the championship game or not?
Okay, so
you have a 12-0 Ohio
Right.
State, 11-1, 11-1 Penn State, and 11-1 Oregon.
See, unless Michigan is like 10-2 or USC is like 10-2 or something like that, I think all three are getting in, so I'm not worried about it. And then I think it just comes down to seeding. So I think if you don't play in that game, you're probably like 10, 11, or 12.
Yeah.
Whereas if you play in that Big Ten championship game, but you lose a close game, I think there's a pretty good chance you're hosting a playoff game at like 6 or 7. So I don't know. It kind of comes down to that. I think all three are safely in, barring like one of the other Big Ten teams having an 11-win season.
I think Michigan's going to suck, but
yeah,
it was just, it's one of these things where I feel like last year, last year would have been a good example of, I guess when it was a 4-teamer, like there was no chance that a non-division champion was going to make it really from the Big Ten. Like, I guess, right? So Ohio State 11-1 was not really.
Yeah, it happened once.
Yeah.
So
now you do open that up, and I guess maybe you probably do care a little bit less. But I feel like, is getting the bumps and bruises and the exposure, if you're going to probably lose, is that worth it to you? Or do you just sit back and be the 11-1 team, and even if you're on the road, that's okay in the playoff. You get a free week off.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if you're the team that loses the Big Ten championship, you don't get a bye, and you just played that game. So you're now talking about possibly a 17-game season, right?
Jesus, yeah.
No, it would be, 17. Yeah, 3 rounds of the playoff and a championship plus 12 in the regular season. Yeah, so you're talking about playing an NFL schedule if you're in the Big Ten championship game and lose it. So to me, if I'm 11-1, I'd rather sit at home and not be involved.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, and not don't chalk up another loss. Don't get anybody hurt. None of this stuff, right? Because you're not going to be forgotten.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're how many teams are going to be 11-1 in the country? Very, very few, right? So basketball, 5-point game, 1:45 to go. Somebody hit a free. I can't tell who it is. But.
Yeah, I know my TV's on like an angle from me, so it's really hard to.
I'm watching on my phone, and it's.
I was gonna sit over at the bar, but there's no outlet over there, and my laptop is so old it dies in about an hour now. When I'm not doing anything streaming on here now, it's dead in 20 minutes. I've had it since I was a freshman in college. It's probably time to move on. But
my son just told me today he needs his mouse trackpad doesn't work, so I have to buy him a new computer.
Yeah, that's how it is. So
what else?
Yeah, so Nelly did Thon. If you follow our Twitter, you'll see that Nelly danced the 46 hours at Thon, and apparently James Franklin came out on stage and got booed, and I cannot believe this guy got booed at a fundraiser for childhood cancer. But I'll be honest with you, nothing surprises me anymore. The seat might not be too hot for him internally. I'm talking about with the athletic director and the president. Externally, I mean, it's up there. Like the fan base is not in a good spot, or he's not in a good spot with the fan base, I should say. He's got to make the playoff. He's probably got to win a playoff game. And even then, these people are insane. But I don't know. I don't know how he's going to take it. He's either going to take it as motivation, scorched earth, or
scorched earth is one way to say it, maybe, yeah.
But the thing is, I see why no one donates to the NIL, because they boo the coach every time he's out in public. So no one wants to support him. So I don't know how it's going to really improve.
So I don't know, when we lose the games the game to Michigan and everything, everybody's sad for a little while, and we can't move the ball, and we should beat Ohio State, and we can't move the ball. like in the moment there, it's like, oh my God, this is terrible. Like things need to happen and whatever. But like that was whatever 3 months ago now. I think you're a fucking idiot if you're booing him, right? What
Yeah,
what good does it do anybody?
it doesn't.
It doesn't. It doesn't do the culture any good. It doesn't do any good for recruiting. It doesn't make that guy feel any better about being there. And you know, I'm a very big proponent of like, look, you get paid millions of dollars, you got to take whatever comes at you. But
Right.
like, these people are assholes, man. Like
Yeah.
there's no benefit to this. There's nothing positive about it. And yeah, we can talk about the NIL thing and why people don't donate to that. And I am a firm believer that you should not be asking kind of the average Joe to fund your football team. But oh my God, like, yeah, it's just dumb. Congratulations, Nelly, on dancing for 46 hours. And we're never going to hear the end of it on the group chat. So.
Yeah, he's been like sick now the entire time. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like people kind of, this game's getting interesting. People kind of forget that it wasn't that long ago that this team was really bad. You know, during the sanction years, we were happy when they went 7-5. And I just think a lot of people are not putting that in a perspective as much. I mean, yes, they should have made the playoff a couple of years. You know, the one year it wasn't their fault. They kind of got ripped off. You know what I mean? There are a couple other years where it was kind of their.
I hope you mean, yes.
Yeah, there's a couple other years.
Oh my God. And one. Down one. 29 seconds to go. Oh, not an and one. That should have been.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you're a little behind me, I think.
Yeah.
But if you're streaming it, definitely. Yeah. But where was I now? Oh, yeah. Like, only 4 teams make the playoff every year. Well, now it's 12. So it's like the expectations are way up. But like 4 out of like 66 teams that could possibly make it every year. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to be in that 4. And it's even harder when maybe 2 of the top 5 programs of the last 5 years are also in the same division as you. So I just think that little perspective there. It's not as bad as people I think make it out to be. I would like to see them make the playoff and, you know, win these big games a little more, but I don't think like trying to run the coach out of town is exactly the way to go about it at this point, when it feels like you're definitely closer to, you know, beating them than going back to being a 7-win team. I just think you need to keep trying to go up instead of trying to blow it up, because you're a lot closer to them than you are to being back where we were happy when we made the Pinstripe Bowl.
Yeah. And I don't know, even now that like the other bit on that you mentioned there that kind of gets me a little bit is like, okay, well now they're going to make the playoffs because it's 12 teams. So like, that's not the same, right? Like making the 12-team playoff is not the same as making the 14 playoff.
That's why I said they probably have to. Earlier, I said they probably have to win a game to just get these people even.
It's but like, we talk about that a lot. Like everybody talks like now is the time they're going to win. Okay, they're going to make the playoff and then they're going to lose to Alabama or something. Mm-hmm. They're still going to be one of the top 6 to 8 best teams in the country and not make it any farther. But just you know, it's after a loss, you'll see fans tweet unacceptable or whatever. It's like, dude or lady, you do not make the decisions. You don't pay the salary of this guy. Just go have a beer, go for a walk. You know, it's okay. Be happy. Be happy of a team that, like you're saying, is in the top 10 to 12 teams in the country year in and year out, and wins 10 games every year. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
and you can say it's a loser attitude, and if anybody actually watched this, I'm sure they will come at us for that. But screw you too, buddy, because it's okay.
I mean, you look at kind of the last 2 seasons, and outside of obviously losing to Michigan and Ohio State, has no one in the regular season has come near them, really. Now, there's that weird game with Indiana this year that they had to score late to win, but that was coming off the Ohio State loss, and you know, a lot of weird things happened in that game. But really, we're talking about one game out of 20 in the last 2 years that was even like somewhat in doubt. Like they've just kind of separated themselves from a lot of programs, and now it's at the point where we could point the finger at, look, now you only have 1 or 2 to get over instead of, back when Franklin took over the job, we were looking up at Michigan State. Rutgers beat them, or not Rutgers, Maryland beat them. Wisconsin was better than them. Illinois was decent. Purdue was decent. And now now you're clearly moved up past all these programs and did it rather quickly, to be honest with you. So I don't think it's that bad. You're a lot closer to being where you want to be than where you don't want to be.
The last game that they lost that they should have won was the Illinois game, right? And that was Sean Clifford was half dead. Oh my God, that dude took like 7 steps. And I know I'm behind you, but he's like, what? Like he 8 steps. That's what a Jesus. That's a bad call. And then the Iowa game that same year when Clifford got hurt, but that also that was a fluke. They would have beat both of those teams, I think, pretty handily had he not gotten hurt.
Right. He doesn't get hurt. We're talking about probably 3 straight seasons where they won every game they're supposed to.
Right. So that's what it is. And Ohio State is more talented. Michigan this year was more talented. Well, probably equally as talented, but far more experienced. And they were built to play the game that they wanted to play. And that was, they beat everybody, right?
Yeah.
Like they won the national championship, for God's sakes. So. Oh no, I'm still shooting our second free throw here. So hold on.
No, you missed a lot. I won't say anything.
Okay, you would have said something if we won.
I'm trying to comprehend what happened because I can't hear anything. So I'm just kind of playing it by eye on a TV that's like I can only see like half the screen of. So
this team, though, I like this team. Like they're
scrappy. I give them what they are.
The whole drama, like there was a really good thread yesterday about Ace and Kanye and what happened there. Can I go in? No.
You got fouled.
Oh shit! No kidding.
He's shooting, yeah.
But it had I don't know if they didn't work that out. They didn't lose to A&M and then VCU. I think we're looking at them, and then Bucknell, obviously looking at a very different team.
Yeah, that is. Like in terms of, I guess, like rankings, like they rank every single team in college basketball on all these net rankings or whatever. That was the worst loss in like Penn State history since net rankings have been a thing. So, all right. So Penn State is up here.
All right. Dude just took his first free throw.
Oh my God.
I should have turned it on the TV, but my wife has a friend over, so I'm in the bedroom. Holy cow. What else? So we got I didn't think we were gonna make it all the way to the end of this because I thought I was gonna get bored, but this is actually pretty cool. The last thing we want to talk about before the game ends or after the game ends is workout warrior of the day. So we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, that is I already know what happens. I don't know how far behind you are, but
it's over. They won. They stormed the court.
Yeah, that's insane. I'm never gonna hear the end about freaking Rec Hall now. They're just gonna fucking
should we go back and like
no, but like
but I okay, so I was on the side of it does help to make it feel like a better atmosphere. I've been to Cameron Indoor, not to watch a game, but it was like on the court and stuff. And that is a shockingly small arena from what I remember too. So I think there is some benefit to that, like versus like Dean Dome or something. Okay. Drew Aller has won precisely 0 workout awards in winter. What else? Julian Fleming had one.
I haven't even noticed the running backs.
Quentin Martin had 2, I think. I don't know who else had them.
He interests me. But
Singleton had 1, I think. So does it matter?
No, it doesn't matter. Bo Prabula is probably the best athlete on the team, if I'm being honest with you. Right. I mean, he's like 6'2", 230. He can easily play outside linebacker or tight end for this team. And he's the second. Well, I don't think he has a better arm than Grunkmeyer now. So I'll say the 3rd best passer on the team. And he's also athletic enough to play like 3 or 4 other positions. So like,
back up 1 second.
Clearly he's going to win.
He's the 4th best passer on the team, right? Like Smolik is probably,
I don't know.
Which kind of sucks, by the way, right? Anyway, but that was an aside.
But of course the dude's gonna kill workouts. All they're doing is running in straight lines, lifting weights and stuff. Like they're not playing football. They're working out. So the better athletes are going to dominate these things, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're a better football player. I just like, we knew Drew Aller was not exactly the greatest athlete ever, but his arm talent was there. And that's the thing that we're banking on. So I hate when people are writing like articles like QB controversy and stuff. There's no football involved in what they're doing. Okay. There's no pads, no, I guess there's cleats.
There's
no
literally
pads.
no football, right? Like,
Yeah, literally no football. That's what I'm saying. There is no brown football with white laces involved in this. It is like dumbbells, squat racks, like medicine balls, what I'm talking, tires. Like, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about 15-yard, routes and stuff. We're not talking about deep balls. Yeah, we're not talking about blocks, picking up blocks. We're not talking about beating a left tackle off the edge. We're just talking about how fast you run and how much weight you lift. There's a difference here. And I just think a lot of people on Twitter cannot seem to grasp that.
Like the booing James Franklin thing. Kids, right? This is mostly younger people. And I'm not like an old man yells at trees, but or clouds. But kids are stupid, right? Like, they take this too far. And even it's just, man, I think everything you said there is exactly right. It's nothing, right? I don't know if they do it, like Colonel Nicky does it to be like, oh, we're going to motivate Drew Aller here, or Danny O'Brien, I guess, whoever is the quarterback coach. We're not going to give him the award and we're going to make him work harder. I don't think it's that kind of Machiavellian, but just whatever. It's Bo Prabula is a really good athlete, and he's going to win these awards. And if there was ever a playoffs for that, he'd make the finals.
Yeah, I do legitimately think he's maybe a top 5 athlete on this team in terms of all the different things he could do. Yeah. So clearly he's going to beat these guys that don't really look like him. They're just kind of dudes that play. I mean, you look at Patrick Mahomes. You saw that picture of him shirtless at the parade, and it's people like, this is the best quarterback ever, and he's got a little beer gut and stuff. You know what I mean? Most quarterbacks are not.
It was like that with Brady too, right?
Mm-hmm. Dudes like Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields are kind of outliers. A lot of quarterbacks just, and I guess Josh Allen too is in that, but a lot of quarterbacks just kind of look like average dudes. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure, their hands are huge and they could throw a ball pretty far, and they're obviously not 5'11" unless you're Bryce Young. But
yeah,
I just think that he's out of the ordinary athlete for his position, so it's not a surprise that he wins an award based off of pretty much athleticism. Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. So another dumb thing, but it's this time of year where basketball teams aren't that good, so you got to talk about something. And people don't seem to grasp wrestling well enough to understand the nuances of it and things like that. So, Braden Davis loses a match and then it's he sucks or whatever because people are also stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. What is he? Is he a freshman, a sophomore?
He's a freshman, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The Ohio State kid caught him and kind of rolled him on an underhook, and now everybody does that to him, and they haven't figured out how to stop it yet. But these kids are mostly 3 years older than him and jacked out of their minds. So
right.
They're going to throw him around a little bit. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. People need more context, I feel with things before they overreact. But that's the internet. That's social media. It just rarely happens. So I guess you just got to get used to it at this point because it's not changing.
Well, good. Hey, basketball.
I can't believe that happened.
12 and 13, right? And
now I'm sure there's a group of people outside the Bryce Jones Center right now with bulldozers and pitchforks and torches and stuff. Yeah, trying to knock it down. So
they need to save it though. The concerts are probably pretty good there, right? And stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but the building itself isn't going anywhere.
No,
I still think it's a product thing, but I mean, like I said, this game wasn't even sold out. So
13 and 14 right now. So yeah. If the last few games, Nebraska and some of those, I kind of started to get my hopes up that they were going to somehow sneak into the tournament, but that was stupid.
I mean, if you went out in the Big Ten tournament you're in.
Well, yeah, but that's not going to happen.
I mean, we said that last.
They've beaten like they have the ability to beat literally every team on this schedule except for Purdue. So
yeah, Purdue's been their kryptonite, and part of it is that they just have 0 bigs, and obviously Purdue has Edie. So, oh well.
Hey man.
Well, we got a lot done. Yeah. We'll be back. I don't know, sometime in March for spring practice, I guess. I don't know. There's not a lot that's going to happen. The transfer portal is closed for Penn State players. It's still open for Michigan players because Harbaugh left so late.
Yeah. So Barnham, come on over, bro.
We'll see.
You know what's going to happen at the spring game though, and I'm sure we'll talk before this, but Bo is going to throw like a 50-yard touchdown. Aller's going to have like 5 passes, and they're not going to look great, and people are going to keep fueling that quarterback controversy fire somehow.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't know, because I don't think you're going to see a lot of guys in the spring game. Remember back in like 17 when a bunch of guys like were juniors and seniors that came back, like Gesicki, Saquon, and Hamilton, like those guys, and McSorley, those guys didn't even touch the field in the spring game that year. I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of interesting takes on that again too, because of overreaction galore is gonna happen.
Yep. So anyway,
well, all right.
Have a good one.
Catch you sometime. Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.